Well, I'm going to continue down a path that I've been on for a few days. The views are still doing pretty good, so I think it's worth talking about. I think people are still interested in it. As you know, this channel, I'm not putting an effort into growing it anymore. My effort is those who have enjoyed this channel for years and want me to continue to watch this channel. I'm going to continue to make videos. And so it makes life a lot easier for me to do this. I know that there are people out there that think making YouTube videos is the easiest job in the world. And as far as this channel is concerned, making a video every day, trying to come up with a video idea is just excruciating. It's just terrible. So being able to just talk about anything I want to talk about living your dreams or trying to do something with your dreams, you know, you got a dream, you want to do it. So recently I've talked a lot about lawnmower repair, and you know, I've even thought about changing this channel name again. I've done it once before. It used to be Little House on the Road. Now it's Little House Off Grid. Something about, you know, follow your dreams or something. You know, I have not given it a lot of thought, but something like that. And I know I'm losing viewers. One viewer that I'm sure that has, you know, he's followed me since day one. Well, almost day one. John. And I'm kind of concerned. I haven't seen him in a while. So I'm thinking maybe I've lost him. And you know, the thing is, John has held with me, even though that YouTube, and this happens to a lot of people, has blocked him from being able to comment on my channel. He still was on Facebook and sends me messages. But I've noticed in the last couple of weeks he hasn't mentioned my channel. So I know that the channel is dying. As a matter of fact, and since January, this channel has lost 900 subscribers, almost 900 subscribers. So, yeah, I know it's not growing. It doesn't show up in search results anymore. When you go to incognito, it doesn't show up in search results when you type in off-grid or tiny house. But I do think that has a lot to do with I refuse to change direction with this channel. A lot of off-grid channels stopped talking about off-grid a few years ago, probably about 4 years ago, maybe right around the time of the pandemic. And they became a gloom and doom channel because those seem to have just exploded. And you know, I tried it a few times and I just didn't like it. I didn't feel good about it. And I felt like, well, I'd rather this channel fail than do something I don't feel good about. Ethically trying to scare, you know, my ethics of just trying to scare people all the time. I just didn't want to do it. So I tried to stay positive, talk about your dreams and reason. A lot of times I will talk about the reasons why I live off grid or work on lawnmowers. I'm not a people person. And so working for a company, working for an employer, you got to deal with people, and I'm just not good at it. Now, working with lawnmowers, you're going to say, well, you still have to work with people. Yeah, but I agree, and that is the toughest part of the job. But on the other hand, it's limited exposure to the people. 90% of the effort is just working on the lawnmower. I've been talking about making money or not charging a lot. Maybe let's put it that way. Not charging a lot repairing lawnmowers. And it has been a deep thought process for me in the last month or so. As the business is winding down for the season, you know, I want to think about what I'm going to do next year. Do I want to raise prices? What's the advantages of charging, you know, basically the same what everybody else is charging versus charging a lot less because I don't have any overhead. I mean, I really don't have any overhead. Buying gasoline and carb spray is about the extent of my overhead. You know, some PB blaster. Other than that, there's just not a lot. So do I need to spend, you know, make a lot of money to cover overhead costs and all that? And so I've been talking about people on Facebook, and they're talking about how you got to charge a lot of money. You got to charge the same as your competition. And the thing is that these folks on Facebook who say they have customers are not much better off than me. You know, I got this little patio I work on with a tarp as a roof, and it's worked fantastic for me. But they may have a shed, one of those that you can buy and bring over. You know, they may have a shed. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos like that. Or they're working out of their garage. which is fine. Not having a problem with that. But you can't charge the same as a guy who has a shop on Main Street. You just can't. You don't have employees, you don't have overhead costs, you don't have huge electric bills, air conditioning bills, you don't have any of that. Why, you probably don't even carry insurance, liabilities and all that. So it doesn't make sense. If you want that shop environment, then you can charge that much. And there is advantages to having that shop. You're going to get more customers because they're going to trust that you're an actual shop versus me, where I may not get as many customers. Now, I do have a huge advantage. I have no competition within 40 miles of me. That's huge. So people are willing to come to me and try me out. And the thing is the area is so small. And, you know, this is a hobby business for me. It's so small that the word of mouth is pretty good. You don't have to do a lot of advertising anymore. It's all pretty much just runs itself. You just got a call yesterday. I don't know if he's going to show up. You know, I don't do well with people. But he called yesterday, and I was fairly confident that he would show today. Part of me said, nah, don't get your hopes up. And he's still not here. I haven't heard a word from him. So, you have to think, well, this is starting to get to the end of the season. Does he really need his mower this time of the year? Somebody else called a while back. I even messaged him back, and he says, when I get around to getting it on the trailer, I'll get it over to you. So, they're not going to bring it this time of the year. They'll wait until I'm really busy in the spring, and that's when they'll bring it over. And then they need it tomorrow, because the grass is growing. So, but like I said, I think there's a lot of people that start this business to get rich quick. They just see it as a get rich quick scheme, which tells me they've never really worked in the industry. So I've had a two-problem issue with all these people on Facebook. There's so many people who say they have customers and they don't know basic diagnostics. Basic. Spraying carb cleaner in the carburetor, or starting fluid in the carburetor to see if it'll start. Well, I've changed out the carburetor, I've changed out the solenoid, I've checked the compression, and it still won't run. Why'd you change all that stuff? Well, why didn't you use starting fluid? Why didn't you check for spark? So that is a huge issue. I think that's so frustrating. And then they all want to spend, your customer, they want their customers to spend $100 an hour to pay them for this shoddy work of them just replacing parts. Somebody called me a parts changer one time. You're just nothing but a parts changer. And I don't see it that way. I really do try to diagnose what the problem is. Now, I've cleaned carburetors, so it's not like I just go and immediately change parts. Now, I will admit, a lot of it has to do with the customers, what they want. Sometimes it's just cheaper to change out a carburetor with an aftermarket carburetor, and the customer's like, yeah, let's go that direction. And does that make me a parts changer? No, I know how to clean the carburetor. I can buy all the parts to rebuild a carburetor. That definitely is never cheaper. Rebuilding a carburetor is never cheaper. If there's gaskets and it leaks and new needle valves and all, it's never cheaper than an aftermarket. Never. So the people around here are not going to care if they have an OEM part, and that's another thing. These people, they sit around talking about how they're never making any money, nobody wants to pay them any money, but they want to buy the most expensive parts to put on these lawnmowers. These lawnmowers are not worth it. These new lawnmowers are not worth it. A guy does not want to go out and spend $2,000 for a new lawnmower, so he's hoping he can take a mechanic and say, hey, can you fix this for $100, $200? No, you're going to have $400 worth of OEM parts plus my labor. There's another $400. That's $800. You're going to save $200. They're like, no, I just go get a new one. And these guys on Facebook are just aggravated about that they can't change out every part on the lawnmower before they actually find the problem, and then charge them 4 or 5 hours worth of labor. They just. So I do get frustrated with all that. But something occurred to me today. I've been working on this channel for coming up on 9 years. So like March or April will be 9 years on this channel. And it has been an absolute struggle the entire time. I've tried all kinds of different things. I know these people that, you get in my comment section and tell me how to run my channel. Oh, you know, they've never ran a channel. I mean, there's YouTubers out there who will say how I should run my channel, who have fewer subscribers, fewer views, telling me, oh no, you need to do it my way. The part of it that nobody seems to understand is it's a lot of work, and it never gets easier. As a matter of fact, it probably gets harder the longer you do it. Which is what, you know, I say that. Then, of course, I got the other channel, and I really see the other channel as fairly easy. I don't have to come up with video ideas. You know, Lawnmower comes in here, I show how to repair it. I show how to service it. You know, something. It's just not hard, and it's going to be evergreen. So the thing about that channel, though, is it's just going to be a waiting game. That's all that channel is. So, you know, you come up with this 10-year plan for that channel. You say, okay, well, maybe in 10 years, that channel will start making a good deal of money. And I'm actually okay with that. You know, I'll be starting to get up there in retirement age where I collect Social Security and that kind of stuff. And it's going to be starting to produce some money, and it'll be a nice little retirement income. I can still fiddle around with lawnmowers, put some videos up once a week. It doesn't have to be hard. I mean, think about it. A lawnmower a week, let's say I'm in my retirement and I work on one lawnmower a week, I put a video up. The evergreen videos are just going to keep producing views. 1, 2, 3, 4 million views over a 10-year period. You know, that starts bringing in some revenue. So that's just a waiting game on that channel. But this one is an everyday struggle. And so you watch these YouTubers, you know, they're experts or whatever you want to call them. They make YouTube videos telling folks how to run a YouTube channel. And there's a lot of good ones out there. I've watched, well, I'm kind of stuck on one now. I've watched them all in the past, all of them. Now there's so many of them, it's hard to keep up with. But back when I was doing, there was only a couple that did it. And I watch them. And, you know, the thing that's nice about still watching those channels is YouTube's always making changes, doing things different. Like right now, with a click of a button, you can ask another YouTuber if they want to collaborate on a video. And so your video will be posted on their channel, and if they collaborate with you, their video will be posted on your channel, and so you get all the views from, you know, their viewers will get an opportunity to see your video, and vice versa. My viewers will get the opportunity. So I'm waiting for these YouTube experts to show me how to do that better, so it's not so awkward when I'm just sending out requests to everybody, or, you know, it would actually make sense. So they'll tell me how to do that, and that's why I still watch these guys, because you know, learning these new tricks and tips and all that stuff. But as far as growing this channel, you know, I'm just not working that hard at it anymore. I've got better plans for my future now. This channel peaked right around the pandemic time. It peaked really high, and it has steadily declined, which is fine. I don't stress about it anymore. But you see these new guys coming in, and it's just like they're on the Facebook. You see these new guys coming in, and they're all gung-ho. They're going to make all these videos, and, you know, they get in the comment section of these YouTube gurus, and, oh yeah, here's what you got to do. You got to record, and you got to spend 16 hours editing the video, and you got to have the best mic, and, you know, I've just spent $5,000 on all this equipment. I got a sound room, and AI editing, no, blah, 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 blah. And they go on and on and on, and they make like 2 videos. And then they quit. Because it didn't explode like they wanted it to. They just didn't want to work at it. They just wanted to throw a video out there and be Casey Neistat or Mr. Beast. Who's the other one? PewDiePie. They just thought they were going to explode. And they didn't. What do you mean if you think about Casey Neistat? I don't think he makes videos anymore, and I don't think PewDiePie makes that many anymore. So, you know, they all kind of just fade away. The key is just stick with it. I mean, I watch this one guy. He's been on YouTube, I think, 15 years, something like that. And he just sticks with it. You can see his views have steadily declined. I mean, he's got millions of subscribers, but, you know, he gets 60,000 views. But he sticks with it. It brings in a little bit of income. I think people just, they have this huge idea. And this is how they're going to get rich. Everything's about getting rich. So I don't think a lot of people really sit around and think about strategic planning, you know, their future with anything. You know, with this channel, I told Carolyn, I said, hey, can I start a YouTube channel? Let's travel, start a YouTube channel. I mean, we had a couple options. I was going to start a lawnmower repair business, or we were going to travel and do a YouTube channel. And we kind of did the traveling thing. And I said, if we start a YouTube channel, and you know, my goal, let's shoot for getting 5,000 subscribers within the first year. And if we can't do that, then we'll come back and I'll start a lawnmower repair business. And I mean, of course, we did get to 5,000 subscribers, barely. I mean, we're right there. Yeah, I remember getting on Facebook and trying to scrape up the last, I don't know, 20 or 30 subscribers for that last day or two that I had left. But it's just constant work. You can't just expect things to just get rich. You just can't. And I think that's what a lot of people in this country expect, is just to, you know, hang a sign and get rich. So if you'll click this up next box, take your video over to my other channel, really appreciate it. Go check it out. So I hope I can inspire you to stop thinking you're going to get rich and live your dreams. Thanks for watching.